Jana, Dimitris, and Max. We will each tell you about how we approach building communities and
running and joining local meetups. The second motivation is, well, how many of you had trouble speaking to friends and family about cryptocurrencies, decentralization, and so on? All right. Well, that's one reason we have local meetups, so we can have someone to speak to. So we can talk about BIP39 mnemonics, we can talk about consensus algorithms, we can talk about second citizenship, and someone will listen and understand. So how do you find people to join your meetup? Well, before that, I want to say that I was involved in 4 meetups in Dubai, Cyprus, and Greece, and today I'm involved in Athens and also in Paphos in Cyprus. So how do you find people to speak at your meetup? Well, obviously through your community, in your city, or if you have a budget, you can pay expenses to people to come and speak at your meetup, or you can steal speakers from conferences. So in Athens, our next speaker is Jameson Lopp. We're stealing him from a blockchain, an expensive blockchain conference. Also, I would encourage people to go and travel, go to other cities, other meetups, and conferences. For example, I was here last year and I heard Uri speak, and I was impressed by the presentation, so I invited him over to speak in Athens.
It was a great experience, thank you.
It's also important to know who doesn't speak at your meetup. We have a policy of no sales pitches. In your community would probably not show up if they feel that they're being sold on. That means we don't accept live ICOs, but if ICO is finished, then that's fine. We had the 0x project present to us, and they were really good technically, they didn't try to sell us anything. So, well, the next question, I guess, is who leads a meetup? So it's like every other volunteer project. It's the people who show up. It's the people who invest time, effort, and maybe money to contribute to a meetup in a community. It's the people who do the legworks and make the phone calls. And in every such community, there is a turnover. In all the meetups I've been to, some person started it, a second took over, a third took over, or in the case of Dubai, no third person showed up, so this particular meeting is dying. And it's important to think of succession planning, cultivate a leadership team, invite people from the community to contribute to the meetup, to give them some tasks to do that they feel that they own the meetup, so one day they'll take over from you. So speaking about failure, I want to mention a few failures. In the Greek community, we have about 3 ladies who speak about cryptocurrencies in the entire community, so this is perhaps a failure in diversity. Another failure I've seen in meetups is bad public speaking, and I'll talk about this later. We had a case where Microsoft gave us a speaker, and they were very enthusiastic speakers, and the person was very well trained at delivering a deck of slides, but they couldn't answer any of the technical questions. So essentially, that was a sales pitch that was good for a bank, but not for a technical meetup. We had another case where the speaker drew a big crowd, and we took a picture of him and uploaded it to the website. And they complained because they wanted to see a picture of the crowd. So that was a vanity issue. And you know there's a problem with the speaker if when you are negotiating with them, you don't speak to them directly, but instead there is a sidekick or a secretary between you and them. So that's something to watch about. And 3 years ago, I was at a meetup where someone was very enthusiastically presenting about a pyramid scheme. And that was embarrassing, and the filter of the community didn't work very well in this case. And when a community actually matures, you'll have multiple meetups. The one in Athens focuses on cryptocurrencies, cypherpunks, and so on. But there's another one in a different city where people talk about charts, technical analysis, and trading. And there is yet another one that's about blockchain, not Bitcoin. And I'm happy these exist because I don't want to talk about these topics. So multiple meetups, a good thing. There is specialization. And when you run a meetup, it's important to realize your own biases. So I have a bias for Bitcoin and cypherpunks and so on. But the community obviously has other interests, and you must keep that in mind. You need a diverse leadership team in the meetup with different interests. In Athens, we had presentations from Ethereum, Cardano, Monero, and so on. And you want to be wide and accept all topics. And lastly, I want to talk about public speaking that was mentioned in the earlier presentation. If you want to run a meetup, eventually you will make the journey from that side of the room to this side of the room, and you will pick up a microphone and speak. So I want to ask the audience, how many of you are comfortable with picking up a microphone and speaking to 100 people? Okay, maybe a quarter. So I want to address the rest of you. Myself, I'm a computer geek. I was extremely uncomfortable with speaking in public. I never ever thought of myself ever running a meetup. But I found a way to improve my public speaking, which was to join a Toastmasters club. Toastmasters club are groups of volunteers that practice public speaking. They speak to each other. They also give feedback. And after giving 3 speeches, I think I lost my fear of public speaking. So I recommend this to you. So to finish, I encourage you all to think globally and act locally, join or start a local meetup, or go and speak to one. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Hello, so I have some slides ready. Can you hear me? Yes. So I also have some call for the action. It's called Meetup Organizers of the World Unites. Let me share some statistics with you. So a bit about us. I'm running Blockchain Talks. It's a monthly conference based in Amsterdam. We've been in the market since August 2017, and we are organizing meetup with a monthly recurrence. Our audience is up to 160 people. We hosted over 80 speakers, mostly international speakers. We aim for the highest quality content, and yeah, as mentioned, we are in Amsterdam. And the agenda of every meetup is usually that we are hosting 2 keynotes who only share knowledge and who are not branded, but also 1 ICO or 1 blockchain project with commercial purpose. Because we somehow believe that we shall not ditch the entire space of commercial applications of blockchain. And our focus, as mentioned, are genuine blockchain use cases and knowledge sharing, preferably. But it's very important to realize that with full meetups comes also big responsibility for organizers. You may wonder here, like, what is the responsibility about? It's not only about bringing people together and presenting some stuff, taking care of logistics, selling tickets, and at least break even with your meetup. It's also a huge responsibility as it comes to creating a content, because different content in a different context yields to different consequences. And what can be the consequences? So let's name a few. You can get confused audience who will not show up in your next edition. You can get a disappointed audience, which is even worse, because angry people, they will really spread the word about you, and your potential to grow the community decreases significantly. Also very important here is to say that when the content presented on your stage contains some misleading information, This information can be then presented as the only truth. And also, misleading information can be then propagated outside the meetup, which is even worse. Because we at Blockchain Talks, we aim for like helping blockchain mature, and we believe that it comes through education and through genuine knowledge sharing. Also, we don't like shallow sales pitches on stage. And also one of the consequences, which is very inconvenient and very difficult to get rid of, is when your meetup is being labeled as ICO showcase or even worse, as a scam showcase. So as mentioned, our focus are genuine blockchain use cases and knowledge sharing. But I mentioned that our agenda always contains one ICO. So let me show you how do we go about this field. And they are allowed to step in at any time with any question they like. And this concept works for us very well. And hopefully the video here, it's video. And it doesn't work. But feel free to Google Blockchain Talks ICO Shark Tank. So we believe that even such a small step in the world of ICO meetups as we did with the Shark Tank can bring long-term consequences. Another refreshments to our agenda we introduce and which work for us very well are, for instance, battles. Like, I think it's a lot of politics in this space also, especially Bitcoin Cash discussion. So last Friday we hosted Tom Wayne on behalf of Bitcoin, and we confronted him with someone who is recognized as a Bitcoin Cash maximalist. We structured the debate, so we got better outcome than the discussion at Blockchain Cruise with Roger Ver and Jimmy Song. We also organize Ask Me Anything sessions with professionals. This is also something to maybe to consider in next events. And also we organize panel discussions with non-blockchain people who are professionals in a certain industry. This is very important to step out from the bubble and to bring professionals from other areas into the community. Because you increase diversity, you get more ideas, and you can make more out of it as it comes to not only to business, but also interaction, knowledge sharing, and such. And why my presentation is called the way it's called, Meetup Organizers of the World Unite. I believe that your audience is your responsibility. And this is something which every meetup organizer shall be aware of. And this shall be his priority. So we strongly recommend to partner with people as done in this space. And we need to unite so we make progress sooner. And yes, we also recommend become a brand, independent brand, and not a religion. Because this is also something we can witness in this space. Listen to your audience, so it means know your audience and create connections between the people you have in the audience. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you.
One of the organizers of Baltic Honey Badger Bitcoin conference, which took in place in Riga 2 weeks ago. I didn't prepare my talk, to be honest, because I'm still trying to get some rest from the conference, because it was like 600 people gathering in Riga, so a bit complicated. So the first Baltic Honey Badger Bitcoin conference was initially happening in 2017 in November. We gathered around 300 people from all over the world. Actually, we had few people coming from Australia, a lot of people coming from US and Canada. We had like 2% from total amount coming only from Latvia, so it's like globally recognized event. This year we doubled the amount of attendees. We actually had people coming from New Zealand, which was a new destination for us, Brazil, and again Australia and other locations. So initial idea of organizing Baltic Honey Badger was not to make money, but just to create some gathering of the people and to give back to crypto community mostly to Bitcoin community, because we don't accept any ICO, any altcoins. We're pure Bitcoin conference, and that's the way it's gonna be, at least for Riga chapter. So right from the start, we had a pure vision, no ICO, no blockchain jumbo mumbo, just pure Bitcoin, tech talks, social economics, politics, whatever. We actually, because of that, last year we were completely like non-profit conference, and that was also the one of idea that helped us. We didn't wanted to make a conference to make money, we just wanted to make it to educate people as well. Because in 2017 there was like ICO shit show globally, everyone was speaking about ICO. I'm sorry, I just do say bad words sometimes, but it goes like this, you know, it's really, I didn't find through these years, none of the ICO that was like legit, maybe one or two, I don't know. I need to find them as well. So we actually didn't have much sponsors last year because again, each day we were receiving a lot of letters with offering from ICO, like we're ready to pay you like a lot of money and let our CEO come to your conference and he will speak in front of the audience and say that we are developing a new Bitcoin killer app, whatever. This year we had more sponsors, but we're quite picky on the sponsors. We don't accept everyone and we have our strict policy on that. We also have a small close advisory board of people who are helping us to onboard new speakers and to onboard sponsors. How we make it, and a lot of people asking, how did you do that? How did you bring Elizabeth Stark, Adam Beck, Andres Antonopoulos? Last year he was in Riga as well. Well, we just did it, and to be honest, I don't have any secret sauce to say to you. We just had a few networks, few connections within the crypto space, and crypto space works that way. If you're a proper person with proper reputation, then trust me, at some point of time, you will be able to leverage this reputation. A lot of our speakers actually helped us to onboard new speakers, and that's how we made the first conference. And this year, it wasn't even a problem of onboarding new speakers because everyone was knowing about the Honey Badger brand, and everyone was understanding that it's a pure and proper conference in terms of Bitcoin. So actually a funny thing about a lot of people were asking how did you manage to bring Andres Antonopoulos. Well, when you go to Andres Antonopoulos' website, there's a form you can fill in and ask Andres, are you willing to participate in our conference, and send it to Andres, and he will respond in like 1 or 2 days. So it's quite simple, to be honest. You don't need to like think about other ways. So yeah, that's basically the story of Honey Badger, and we're going to do this next year. We're not going to increase it too much because we thought that 600, 700 people is enough. And the mistakes, you mentioned failures, I would say it mistakes that last year, one of the mistakes was we made it in November in Riga. If you ever been in Riga in November, you know that is a huge mistake because you either drink too much or you just don't go outside because it's too cold. So this year we made it in September, still was a bit freezing. Next year we will make it earlier, so people could enjoy the good weather and the nice city of Riga. So the second mistake was that we had 2 different venues in 2017, and next day was in a smaller venue. It was more cozy, but there wasn't enough space for people, and some of the people were complaining. So we had one big venue this year. Everything was organized within this venue. And the third mistake that actually appeared this year, that everyone suddenly became crazy about their privacy, and people were complaining that some of them were filming them and whatever. So next year we'll definitely have a no filming policy, And I wanted to specifically mention that we will not publish any photos from Honey Badger with close use of audience. So if you're paranoid about your security, don't worry about that. Actually, some of the speakers mentioned, I won't say names, but they mentioned if you're paranoid about security, just sit at home and watch the live stream. But we do understand that people want to engage, so next year definitely we won't feel anyone, no worries. And yeah, and about responsibility, yeah, we have a huge responsibility because actual people paying us and they are expecting some kind of quality and they're expecting us to deliver. And as we hear, what people are saying, that we're delivering quite well. But again, each time after the conference ends, I just sit like for 1 hour and I literally cannot understand how we are making it. So if you will ask me some secrets and how you do that, well, we're just delivering, we do our hard work and that's it. And we are not trying to make like a bunch of money with that. It's just our giveaway back to community. That's it.
Thank you. I think that it's a really good point, because if you talk to organizers of Hackers Congress, they're right now, they lack sleep, they're overstressed, they have, like they think that...
I do understand, that's why I'm enjoying and drinking
yeah.
wine from the morning, because
yes.
I don't need to do anything,
yes.
I just sit and speak, and that's it.
So for our meetup, I actually had a pleasure to speak at all of your events, so I can compare, and I really like the fact that they're all very diverse. That also makes me want to come to see more of these meetups all around the world, because they're just so very different. Our approach, so I'm organizing and part of the community of Paralelná Polis, which is the same place as here, but in Bratislava. And our approach is that we wanted to not only give talks and educate people by explaining them the concepts, but we also wanted to make sure that they can actually try all these technologies. And I'm not only talking about cryptocurrencies, but when you come to Paralelní Polis, also here, there are many things that are out of ordinary. So, for example, we only play Creative Commons music, so you get used to that. We have a strict no photo policy. If you don't ask people, you should not take pictures. So we try to build all of our crypto-anarchistic and cypherpunk ideals into this experience, and you usually don't see it right away when you come in. So, for example, the fact that the bar in Bitcoin Coffee is in the center, and you can walk around, and like there is, like, you don't see immediately who is the barista. I probably now at the conference it's a little bit different, but normally when you come, it makes you a little bit uneasy, and you need to open up and. With open mind, you can learn all these things and all this philosophy by experiencing it yourself. And we think that it's very important part of education, because if people really want to get coffee and the only way to do it is to install some wallet and buy some crypto and pay with it, it's a painful experience, and a lot of people don't make it and they turn around and just walk away. But for those that actually do it, I think these few minutes is much better experience than hearing 1 hour talk about how great Bitcoin is. So we try to make all this education part of the experience itself. Of course, it also attracts community with the same set of values as a magnet. So I realized that for me, working on this project and bringing people together the best social strategy because it attracts people with the same values, and they don't necessarily need to be in tech. So we have people from there's Dushki, who is making playgrounds and workout playgrounds outdoor, and he's really has the same values as us. So freedom. So I don't only talk to programmers or economists or people from my field, but it expands who we are. So. As a motivation of why you should do something like this is that if you create an event, a space, or a regular meetup, it attracts people with the same values, and then that expands who you are as a person because you enrich your social network, which is great. So we decentralized the concept of parallel police. So if you are a little bit adventurous and have quite a lot of time on your hands, and I highly recommend you start bringing these people together and actually start Paralelní Polis. It's definitely doable. I will talk about how to do it in bear market during my talk tomorrow. But if you can't do that, join a meetup, visit a conference, network. I think the best way to, like how Hackers Congress gets its speakers is that we walk and we go around other conferences and we just talk to people. So if you want to organize a meetup, all you need is a venue and a speaker. There are plenty of great people here, so feel free to talk to our speakers. We are not very territorial, so we won't bite you if you talk to the speakers that we invited here, and you can invite them to your event. And I think it is quite important to invite people from different areas of business or of life, because if you want another geek that says basically the same thing as you would say, then it doesn't enrich you as much as if there's someone with a different opinion or a completely different point of view. So I highly recommend expanding into like related industries, like you said. So with this, I have a few questions prepared, and also you can of course ask your questions, because all of us have been doing this, organizing these events. There are some people in the audience who have been organizing meetups. So first of all, we had a problem that our original channel, how we got to inform people about our events, was Facebook and Facebook advertisements. And after the ban on crypto, we had a really serious problem on how to attract people to come to our event. And the problem was not that we didn't know about the people or that they wouldn't come. We didn't need to attract like 200 people. Doesn't matter if 30 people come, we're happy because we served 30 people. But the problem is that even those people that want to come, they just need to learn about the fact that the event is happening. And the problem was that if people just like your page and you create an event, they usually don't see. There's a very low probability of them seeing your post. So my first question to all of you is how you actually attract people. How do you let people know about your event?
Okay, so for us, given the fact that we are in the Netherlands, usually the platform meetup.com, this works very well over there. So this is our mainstream as it comes to audience. But also we maintain a list of subscribers. So on our website you can sign up, and then we send an email like 2 weeks prior to the event that there will be an event happening. So yeah, we strongly recommend to keep in touch with your attendees also on an independent platform like this.
We also do the mailing list thing. I was pretty surprised how many people signed up for the mailing list because my perception is that people hate receiving spam. So we make sure we don't spam them. We just send one email a month, but that's really what works. We will give a try to meetup.com. If you have any other strategies, Baltic honey badger is famous, so
Yeah, but well, we wasn't famous in 2017. And actually, the funny thing that, as I mentioned, we're trying to keep it simple. We had the website, which is actually like it looks like the 10 years old guy who just like was attending HTML courses for 1 month. He just wrote the website. And last year, actually, was a funny story when one of the podcast hosts, where we were attending, he was saying, like, when I first saw your website of the conference, I thought, well, we have some scammy projects, scammy ICO. This will be the first scammy conference, definitely, because there was a lot of like quality speakers listed on the webpage that looked like complete garbage. But this year it looks the same, basically, so we didn't change a lot. So why we should care about it? Yeah, we use the power of crypto Twitter, definitely. We didn't spend any dime on marketing, and we do ask our speakers to promote. When we announce the speaker, for example, one of our 2017 speakers out there, we announced him, and he just promoted through his 20,000 to 30,000 followers. And we don't have much followers on our exchange account, but still like around 7,000 followers. And we didn't buy followers, so these are people who are literally real people interested in crypto, so that helps a lot. And we also work with media. We give them free passes, an opportunity to interview our speakers in exchange that they release some information prior our events. So they write about us and share information with their partners as well. So that's the main approach. We don't use, we were trying last year to use Facebook. It didn't work, to be honest, and because like for our audience there's nobody on Facebook, and this year we just created an event on Facebook because, well, you need to have an event on Facebook, and the conference was sold out, but the engagement of this event was around 190 people, something like that, who was mostly interested in going, not attending. So yeah, Twitter and some media outlets. And again, we are also quite picky in terms of media outlets, so we don't collaborate, or we were not partnering with any media outlets that it is out there, like, I don't know, bitcoin.com. We don't work with them. Sorry.
Okay. I think also just to add to it that it is very specific for an event and location. Why I'm saying that is because, for example, in Czech Republic and in Slovakia, Twitter is not really big. Like, you can get an international audience on Twitter, definitely, and yeah, Ambro is one of the guys who can do that. But the reach of followers is in country is even higher on LinkedIn than on Twitter, which is really weird. But we are hyper local, so you are organizing an event that is attracting people from all around the world.
I'm not saying that it's we did, like, actual prior to first conference, we did like 2 meetups, and we gathered people through the Facebook, of course. But it was free of charge, and we had a small space which were able to gather like around 100 people, and it was quite easy, so it was mostly word of mouth, and we onboarded like some heavyweight speakers. Of course, for a local audience, Facebook works, but as I mentioned in my abstract, people in Latvia are actually used to pay like not more than 20 euros for attending the conference. And we receive a lot of complaints like, who are those idiots who are paying like 200 euros to go to some kind of scammy conference when people will show Bitcoin or whatever. But yeah, of course, for a local audience, there's a different channels. But we did understand that with our price, actually not only for Latvia, people everywhere don't want to pay much money. So, so yeah, we used the Twitter, and that worked. I don't know, for meetup organizers, most probably, yeah, Facebook and some other websites will work definitely.
Do you have any other ideas?
Well, so in Dubai, in Greece, meetup.com worked perfectly, but in Paphos in Cyprus, that's a really small city of 50,000 people, so meetup.com doesn't exist there really. So you have to rely on Facebook groups and find existing groups of people and go to the local co-working space and use word of mouth. So that's how we advertise it there.
Yes, thank you. My other question is how you fund this for a conference that's usually sponsored and tickets, probably?
Yeah, for we have actually co-organizers who were investing in first conference, and this year they also were helping. But this year, first year when we announced the conference, we sold 2 tickets in first day. This year, when we announced the conference, we sold 150 tickets in first day. So last year they helped us, and we were co-organizing. This year they also helped us, and we were co-organizing as well. But this year we already at some point where we started paying for like premises, for flight tickets for our speakers, and we understood that we actually can use money that we already have and fund the conference out of the ticket sales. So our initial idea was, and that's why we can afford not to pick any sponsor that we want. Our initial idea was to break even using the ticket sales, not using the sponsor. And again, the core of the idea of Baltic Honey Badger was not to make money, just to make a good event, a proper event, because we were a bit annoyed with a lot of blockchain conferences happening when people are literally paying like $1,000 or euros to go on the conference and to spend 2 days receiving the amount of marketing stuff coming in your head. You need to think about it, actually, your perception. You pay money to people who will sell you more. They should pay you, actually, not you are paying to them. You're spending your lifetime, your hours, your money to hear some advertising. So that was initial idea, and it worked out for us.
Funding?
So in 3 of the meetups, they have no expenses, they have no funding whatsoever. The 4th one in Athens has some expenses because we need a big venue, but we collected donations in Bitcoin 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Lucky you.
So we don't need anything. So, but we're also approached by potential sponsors, but we don't accept them because we would show up as biased and that they would want to sell stuff to our audience. So that's why we turn them away.
So our business model is like this. In the ICO Shark Tank you saw, ICOs are paying. So we charge ICOs to get exposed. I mean, in front of our judges. It's not always nice experience for ICOs, but as Max mentioned, people who are paying, they don't want to be a point of sale for someone, right? They want to hear the high quality content. So we have revenue streams from the ICO Shark Tank, then from ticket sale, and we also have sponsors. But with sponsors, as mentioned, we are very strict what we can do and how our collaboration will look like. And given the fact that we have a monthly recurrent meetup, we have like half year or a year sponsorship package. And maybe you wonder why we need money for then. The reason is very obvious, because we have to pay the space and some small stuff around. So that's it.
So you are blockchain Robin Hood. You are taking from rich ICO and giving back to community. That's
yes,
perfect.
exactly.
I think reserve the applause, because
Yeah.
definitely.
Thank you.
And for us, we are doing basically the same model as here in Paralelnipolis, which is that that the entrance is free, but the event has become quite popular, so people can buy reservations, so that guarantees their seat, and they're more expensive than a ticket would be, but people like to support us and do that. Our problem is that we have to pay for the space 24/7. We're not renting by an hour because it's a physical space that has a cafeteria and all the other parts. So we actually need to raise a lot more money than just to pay for 2 hours of a meetup. But we also make sales or we generate income by selling coffee and other products, merchandise and so on. So that's our way. We also have a board which supports. So these are entrepreneurs that like to support this idea. And they are financing this in part as well. So it's a more complex structure. We have a reverse problem than Dimitri's because we raised most of our money in January in crypto. So we had to do it once again. And okay, the last question is, or two questions is, if you stream your events, if you put them out for free, and an idea that we have been talking about here in Paralelnipolis is that we could actually co-host some of the events. So if there's a Bitcoin meetup with a great speaker in Prague, we could broadcast it live to Paralelnipolis in Bratislava, but also give people a way to ask questions to the speaker. So kind of create this two-way communication channel. It was very popular in communist Czechoslovakia between Prague and Moscow. They were broadcasting these weird TV shows where they were learning dances over, Prague and Moscow, and they were trying to learn one dance. But I think this is a great idea that we can think about, and we will try it out very soon between Prague and Bratislava, but we can maybe do this with other places. So, but the question is, do you stream? And the second question is if you think this will work and we can do it this way as well.
Yeah, we can actually name this project Crypto Comrades. It will be like in between Moscow and Prague. Why no? So United States of Crypto, something like that. So yeah, of course we live stream. We do it for free, and we will continue to do that. And we receive a lot of positive feedback. People are like thanking us for live streaming. We think it's a proper thing to do. Because there's still like a bunch of people who are just willing to come to the place. They're willing to interact. They're willing to be in audience and feel the community. And what was the second question? Sorry.
Co-streaming of
co-streaming.
Events.
We didn't think about it, but it's a good idea, to be honest. And
actually, sorry to interrupt you, but with the conference, the Chaos Communication Congress, it's the largest European hacker conference. What they do is they stream everything, and there are some hacker spaces around the world where they do watching parties. So they would go at a local hackerspace and they would watch the stream from the conference. So they vote which stream they watch. So like it's not something new in the space in this conference thing. It's new for meetups, but like people have been doing this.
But again, it's we have a free live stream, so we don't restrict anyone like from Paralelnipolis or any other event space in the world. Just put the live stream out here and go sit for Baltic Honey Badger video session, something like that. So it's not a problem. So yeah, we stream, we will do that. And next year we will stream without showing the audience, of course. And yeah, so that's the answer.
Well, in Athens, we found out we're bad at streaming, usually because the venue cannot guarantee the infrastructure, or the Wi-Fi is not good enough, or there are 100 people on it, and so on. So instead, we always record and upload them to YouTube later on. We had, on 3 occasions, we had remote speakers over Skype and so on, so we could do the same between meetups.
So for us, yes, we do live stream. We do live stream of every edition. We only have a simple smartphone, so because we don't use microphones for speakers because the acoustics in the venue is pretty great. So, and as it comes to co-streaming, I mean, it depends what kind of content is it. And I mean, I can imagine that having our content and then a part of your content being live streamed. So that could work.
Yeah. It could definitely work between the 2 parallel police. So again, I encourage you to start a parallel police in your city. I think every city needs one, but if not, please organize a meetup. Thank you very much for listening to us. Please, if you want to organize a meetup, I think you can recognize us, these 4 guys and a girl, and talk to us. We will be happy to share our experiences with organizing a meetup. And thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.